love the topic of email marketing because, yes, it's less effective in general, possibly, than it used to be, but it's still with us. We still put money in the bank every single day with email marketing because people still use email. Now, we're equally or maybe even possibly slightly more excited about Facebook Messenger, which is another exciting topic for me entirely, but with much higher open rates, and it's harder to get that real estate. You've got to earn your way into someone's Messenger inbox. Email is still fairly easy to do, and while the open rates have dropped, the conversion rates that we see are still tremendous. And I think we do a great job because we ask ourselves this simple question before we send out any email. Are we providing value? And if the answer is yes, you're providing value, and about 70% of your message is value delivered to the recipient as briefly as possible. Short emails rule. If you have the choice between a long email and a short email, always go short. Short email, couple sentences with a link, maybe a short offer. Hey guys, this offer ends in 3 days. Thought you'd like to know. Here's another little link. So the whole email may be 8 to 10 lines long. Value delivered with a link, short little promo with a link. We sell so much product. But the key is it's always from a person, not a company, because anything from a company is spam automatically in the minds of an email recipient. Doesn't matter what it is. If it's from a company, it's spam. So it has to come from a person. I really like, here's a little email tip for you. I like using all lowercase letters in the subject line because if you think to yourself, if my mom or my grandma were going to send me an email, what might it look like? And we're not worried about capitalization and punctuation. It's all lowercase letters in the subject line, a short subject line possibly. And then it's a very short email. Hey, are you guys coming Sunday? We've got lots of fun things planned. You know, here's a link to last year's event on Facebook to remind you how much fun we had. You know, what kind of email might you receive from a family member that you would immediately open, or a friend? You want it to look and feel like that. It's from a person, it's friendly, it's short, it gets to the point. And if you use that, you can still do tremendous marketing damage with email, which we do all the time around here. What we don't do, we don't include big graphical, attractive images and clickable images and video. And you know that just looks and smells like marketing. That's not what you get from a friend. Your grandma would never send you that email. So we're not going to send it either. We're dealing with humans. We want it to feel like it's one human dealing with one human when we send an email.
If you have the data and you can categorize by which special, like which product they have bought, not just brushes in general, but you can really categorize, okay, they bought a brush for eyeshadow, they bought a brush for like blush. That would be perfect because then you can personalize it way more than if you're just thinking of all the people as just your customers because you know exactly what they bought. And then I would always start out with, I don't know, I hope we are happy with your brush, whatever. So it's really personalized. Just to let you know, we launched some new amazing brush palette, blah, 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 and then just continue and try to sell them more. Also include a video. Very good. To see how smooth they are to the skin or whatever, or how they are made. Just deliver something that makes you special.
I tend to use email marketing. I think that's really underrated. Although it's very old, I think a lot of people seem to think that it's a dying communication method. I don't think it is a dying communication method. Yes, people might not be opening as many emails because they're being overwhelmed, but I think most of my sales, most of my success tends to come from email over anything else that I've tried and tested. If someone's looking at table lamps, they're probably looking at interior design, they're probably looking at decorating, they might even be looking at moving, or they might be just doing a small project. So any content around that and any content where you can feature actual experts within that field would be massively beneficial, and it gets higher engagement and trust with that specific customer or even non-customer. And then I think later down the line, when you're maybe possibly 3 or 4 emails in at least, that's when you start to come in with the sell. You always want to put in your links within the email as well, so you embed that at some point. But I think at the third, fourth, kind of fifth email is where you want to start to upsell. If you have a discount code, it's slightly different. You might want to email that straight through after they've made that purchase, so they go back onto the website or go back onto the Shopify store or wherever you're selling from, and then they start looking at your other products and thinking about buying again. But that first, I think the first email is obviously going to be that, if they've purchased, it's going to be that thank you email, and then possibly a discount to get them back onto your website.
My email list, a lot of people say email's dead. My email list is my central nervous system to my businesses. ManyChat is finding a really cool way to fit in there, or just messenger bot marketing. It's slightly different, but it's an important slight difference between email marketing. But it's definitely email marketing is definitely the central nervous system of my business. Getting them off, the Pixel's great, but getting them a little off there to my email marketing to where I can sell to them directly is my first goal.
One of the fun things, one of the big opportunities right now for new entrepreneurs is things are changing really, really rapidly. So if you got into this game 2-3 years ago, you would be worried about funnels, and basically funnels were like the whole thing, right? We have to put everyone in funnels and everyone's going to get funneled down to some little point, right? So I think the idea of the funnel is almost becoming outdated at this point. And I think people are really starting, like the consumers now, if they're going to buy something on Amazon, they're jumping over to YouTube to check this. They're jumping to Facebook to check reviews there. And I mean, they're just all over the place checking all these different things. So I think the game now is creating, building a relationship with your target customer to where they remember you and your brand however you want them to remember you, right? Because like I sell, organic hair color. So most people are not in the buying mindset of wanting to switch out their hair color. It's a huge investment. It's a huge headache. So how do we sell people in that world, right? We can't just funnel people down. Oh, I was on Facebook and now I'm going to make a $6,000 investment in 3 months of my life, right? So the funnel doesn't work with a lot of these things. And in a situation like that, it becomes value generation and building a relationship. Email is one of the ways you can do that. I do think you have to look at your customer, your audience again, and see where are they going to engage the most. Is it email? Is it a Facebook group? Like honestly, I see a lot of Facebook groups that are probably more effective than huge email lists out there. The key is you have to build a customer list. You have to build a cost-effective way to have that open line of communication with your target customer, your reader, or whatever you want to call them. So if that's email, if that's email, it's email. If it's a Facebook Messenger list, that's fine. If it's a Facebook group, that's fine. And then once we have them there, what do we do with them? Well, we want to engage them and give them huge amounts of value, right? Solve their problems. I think people try to sell too much with these businesses, honestly. If you get into a Facebook group for healthy moms, organic moms or something, and they're just posting about the same 3 baby toys all the time, you're going to stop going to the group, right? No, make an organic mom group, or make a email list for organic moms, where you are basically like the torch that guides them forward in this world. Like you are showing them the great content. You're bringing in like the big mommy bloggers that they love, and you're doing Facebook Live interviews in your Facebook group with them. And so again, I'm going to the Facebook group thing right now, but it's all the same to me. Whether it's an email list, a Facebook group, a messenger list, at the end of the day, it's just a cost-effective way for me to get in touch and communicate with my prospects very quickly on demand, right? So I think you have to build that, though. And especially, it's becoming more and more necessary with an Amazon business, but with a Shopify business, it's really the name of the game. You can't really run a Shopify business just off of paid ads. And the only way to get people back to your site other than that is get them on a list when you do have them on your site, so I can get them back really cheap in the future,
Well, first of all, I want to state that everything you do must lead to capturing somebody's email address, because then you can market for super, super cheap to that email list.
So we have about 60,000 emails at the moment of our customers. So it's a lot easier to launch products and make money when you have that amount of customer, because as soon as we have a new product, we have our own internal review groups. So whenever we launch a product, we launch it to a smaller list. They go in, they try the product, they review it, and then we launch to the bigger list. And then so we get, like, we don't use any launching services, stuff like that. We just launch to our list. And I mean, the way to build that, there's so many different ways, but the easiest way is just through your inserts. Obviously, you want people to just, when they receive your product and they had a great experience, that we offer actually become part of our testing group on the product, on the packaging, and on the insert. So this way they go on our website and there's a clear button that says like become a tester for a program. So it just feels different than what most people do. Like becoming a tester, that makes them feel important. They actually get access to products for free and most of the time before others. So there's a real advantage to them, like, becoming a tester. This is one of the ways we've gotten most of our emails, just by the quick insert and on the website.
Email marketing, the first thing you want to do is have an acquisition strategy. So on your Shopify site, for example, you want to have an exit intent pop where you offer them some reward for joining your list. Privy is a good one. VIEWDIA is a good one. These are apps that you install on your Shopify site. Privy you can use anywhere on the internet. And these apps allow you to set it up so that there's either a timed pop-up or an exit intent pop, which is my preference. You give them a coupon code as a reward. You give them a free ebook, digital guide, any how-to information as a reward. And you let them know that you're going to send them updates and newsletters regularly. And then your system for sending is really the nuts and bolts of email marketing. How faithfully do you send? And you can send as often as you want, as long as you keep the agreement you've made with the people as they signed up. So a lot of fashion e-commerce sellers send a daily coupon code or a daily email. And the people, like my wife, when it's Abercrombie and Fitch or some brand, they stay on the list because that's what they signed up for. Other people will only send weekly or monthly, but whatever commitment you make to people, honor it. My best suggestion would be that you send at least once a week. In our company, we send twice a week, Tuesday and Friday, and we have different formats for those and different content strategies that our customers over time have become familiar with. And so get in that routine, build that system, and I think you'll do really well by it.
Right now, I have been trying like emojis in the subject line. Like I've been sending some emojis like smiley or fire emoji. If I'm getting a reply from that person, if I really want reply from that person, I'm just trying to keep my emails very short, because when I started this business, I was not aware about any kind of email marketing or email outreach. I was making a lot of mistakes, and people used to like hate me on the emails, like fuck you, and you are giving us so many of like such a large emails, because I was not aware about these things, like how to do a cold outreach. Then I just learned it online from my fellow digital marketers, and they teach me like, hey, you need to do this, you need to keep it very short and relevant. So now with my team right now, I have a team of 20 people, so I have trained them like just keep emails very short and sweet. So we have like for outreach, for product reviews, for interviews, for podcasts, for featuring as outreach expert and roundups, we have a different email formats, very short and sweet. And now the response has been very good. Like from before, when I started, the response was very bad, but now I have been working with my team just to create very short and sweet email sequences. We have it, and I have been getting very good response. Just don't drop too many links in the email outreach, because if you drop too many links like, hey, this is my interview, if you're dropping too many links, then your email might go into spam also. So I'm just keeping it very short and sweet, and using emojis in the subject lines. And it has worked very well for me, because whenever I just try to get reply from them, I just try to use emojis.
First, there's of course email automation for Amazon sellers. This can really help people promote their products and have more reviews.
The brands I've run in the past have done email marketing. it's a lot of holiday sales. It's like you first and foremost build up the calendar and go, okay, when's Labor Day? When's 4th of July? When's Christmas? When's Halloween? Okay, these 10 holidays, we're going to need to have an email for each one of those. And then there's Cyber Monday, Black Friday, Prime Day. So you got 3 more emails. So now you're at like 13 emails that you got built out for the day, spread out throughout the year. So you got 1 a month at least. And now, like, where can you sprinkle in ones that are relevant? Like, you're coming out with a new product, your company's having a birthday. What can you explain in the 5 other emails? So at least you can have an email coming in every other week, and they're all relevant. And the first 13 emails kind of write themselves.
So here's a little trick if you want, to get people to come to your e-commerce store rather than Amazon. So on Amazon, okay, people are looking for great, incredibly low prices, good quality products, and you're selling a black widget. Okay, great. But now maybe you sell either a different color or a combo, black widget and white widget, 16 ounce instead of 8 ounce. But you drive them back and you give them the opportunity to either register and get this product at an incredibly low price. That way you get their email, and now you can start marketing to them. If you offer them something of value that they're willing to drop their email, that's something that is priceless. The more and more and more that you own that asset, the better that you can do for marketing. And it's off Amazon too.
I'm not a big believer in tricks or hacks or short-term opportunities. I'm a big believer in building solid, credible traffic assets. An email list is the biggest and best. Any strategy you can employ on your website or related to your Amazon work that gets your ideal customers on an email list is really the most tried and true strategy. Everyone uses that. So the short-term hacks or tricks or that kind of thing are fine for a season, but at the end of the day, use those, in my opinion, you should use those to build an effective email list and really cultivate your list of ideal customers. I can't tell you how many times I've talked to my students, and I've worked with over 30,000 students now through Udemy and one-on-one coaching. Can't tell you how many times I've asked them, how faithfully are you sending your emails out to your customers? And they'll sheepishly answer, well, I only have a list of 600, so I'm not sending my newsletters. It's not enough, is it? And I always say to them, no matter the amount of emails that you have, start to faithfully send. And it's not sexy, it's not a hack, it's not a trick, it's just rock solid e-commerce strategy. And a lot of people will neglect the basics for the fancy, shiny object, and it's just a huge mistake.
Some sellers that collect email addresses through their e-commerce sites and do some email marketing, obviously that's different than any kind of buyer-seller messaging within Amazon. It's a totally different thing.
The first way we did email marketing was just linking a website to, linking like a tool to our Amazon account, like Feedback Genius or something like that, where you could automate emails being sent out. So that's the main way we do it. But then if we do any advertising on Facebook or anything like that where we're collecting emails that way, then we would just send them sort of general weekly emails promoting the same product. We wouldn't go into too much depth because we don't really know who they are. But actual customers, we respond to much better with the actual with the email tools. So that's where we mainly focus on it. Recently, we've started collecting emails of the customers after they've bought by having a VIP program. Or, this is basically like a customer loyalty program. So they get the product and there's a little slip. And again, I won't give all the details, but on the slip, we promise them X amount of value, downloads, get your value, blah, blah, blah. And they go to this website, put their email in, and then we can email to them as well. Any other products that we have in the future. We try not to bother them too much because, again, if we get blacklisted by Amazon for spamming their customers, it's quite dangerous. So you don't want to be an email marketer to these people. You want to be, if you think of like, if you sign up to Happy Socks or Nike or any of these big retail brands, they don't email you that much. They email you like once a week or a few times a month. So it's sort of like that level. And it can just be the same thing. We're running another promotion, happy Easter, whatever. It's like, whatever the email is, it's the same thing. Have you checked out our products, right? That sort of thing. To the new people, to other people, to people who are already customers, it's, have you told your friends? Have you left reviews? Have you checked out other products? Something like that. So there's a few different methods.
Because once you build that list of Amazon, like you send people to your listing and they convert, and so you send off Amazon traffic, which helps a lot for the ranking. You get reviews more easily because you have your list. So this way, it doesn't matter too much that people have a lot of reviews, because you get your own reviews, your own traffic, which most people don't do. So this is where you're able really to catch up to those people faster than like if you're just relying on organic traffic from Amazon.
I would send, it definitely, sequences work better than just sending out one email on Halloween, 100%. But within the sequence email, I'd send anything from 3 to 7 days out from the actual date of when you're giving the discount or the giveaway or launching a product, for instance. So 3 to 7 days. And within those 3 to 7 days, I would give free content around that specific thing. So if we are talking about Halloween, and we're talking about, for example, I don't really celebrate Halloween or do anything on Halloween. Let's say it's costumes, right? That's big on Halloween. Let's say it's costumes. You sell costumes and you sell accessories and makeup and all that type of stuff for people to use during Halloween. Even a makeup company can do this as well. So you're selling costumes. The first email would be essentially possibly a story about how last year somebody used all these products and all these things, bought this stuff, and then what happened in the day or that evening. Somebody got, I don't know, scared, or somebody wanted an interview with them, and then they ended up on the national news or whatever, or something like that, for instance. And then maybe, a small link at the bottom. So if people want to click, they can go ahead and click on that and go to your store. You always want to make sure you have some link somewhere in the email so people can go and follow up on that. And then the second one can be like a how-to guide. So maybe a how-to video or just images on how to do create that. So the skeleton look that people put with just the teeth hanging out like this. Yeah, you can do the how-to tutorial on how to actually do that with makeup, right? And that how-to tutorial will lead them into buying a product. So you can say, this is the product used for that. This is the product used for that. I wouldn't say buy it. I wouldn't say give a discount. I wouldn't say any of that stuff. And then you do something similar on the third day as well. So how to do your makeup for something different around the eyes or whatever it is, how to create great shadow or whatever it is, how to do your hair in a specific way for a specific costume. And you might want to do some research around this. What was the most popular thing that people dressed up as last year or within the last 5 years? And you can do something around that. But on the side, you can also add other tiny little articles, maybe 2 or 3, as to other things that people might have dressed up as. Then in the third or fourth email or fifth, whatever email you're on, you could provide that 20% discount Halloween offer. And you need to make sure you do it before Halloween because people need this product on Halloween so they can go and dress up. So that's what I would do. And then that final email is always to make sure that you offer that 20% off. And then you can do 20% off for the next 2 days, 2-3 days or so people get their product on Halloween. So that's how I would use sequential email. Make sure you give, so to sum it up, to make sure you give free, valuable content on how they can use your product. And then at the end, I'll also give the links within those emails as well. And then make sure you give some level of a discount on the days after the sequence has, come to its end. And that way you'll have a ton more customers. I've done it before and it's proven to work. And that's why I'm putting a lot of emphasis on email marketing myself within my own business. And I've hired a specific email person to do my email marketing to make sure that we get it right and do these sequential emails. And the other thing is, you could even set it up in a way sometimes where you don't have to touch it every year. You don't have to modify it every year. There'll be some changes here and there. But if it's very similar, you won't have to do anything different. And then you can set it to go out on those specific dates, and you don't have to do anything. And all you need to do is just sit back and watch what happens, and you see the money rolling in. So that's how I would use sequence emails, yeah.
In Amazon, in e-commerce, anytime you're selling something, you have ways to communicate with the customer. Amazon restricts it a lot more than like your website. Somebody buys on your website, you can email them every hour for the rest of your life until they opt out. You could set it to annoy them to death, and you guys probably see that in your promotions tab everywhere. It gets annoying. On Amazon, they give you up to like 3 messages, and even 3 is pushing it. So you have to think like, how can I use the packaging? How can I use the product inserts? How can I use those 3 messages to really make a connection with the customer, get them to feel some brand loyalty to me, feel this sense of like reciprocity where they want to do something for my brand, leave a review, tell their friends, that sort of thing. So you have to be more strategic on Amazon with the customer experience.
There's a lot of people, they send an email after you've purchased a product, and then you get an email saying like, hey, thanks for the purchase, like, would you like to make a review, blah, blah. And that's also very important to be in the local language as well. Because then you get like, because a lot of people send like, a little bit intimate emails. It's like, hey, you, how are you doing? Like a pretty laid back emails. And then people like to get that in like an everyday slang, but translated correctly in their own language. The worst thing you could do is just like use the Google Translate. It looks like a really big mess. People just get like really, they kind of just don't like seeing bad Google Translate. They're just like, I'm just gonna like tear this out and just throw it in the trash. But if you do it the right way, and if you send a follow-up email in a friendly manner, like not too formal, because like for instance, it depends also in German market, everybody wants to be formal, and it's like you with a capital letter, and everything is pretty much that. But for the rest of Europe, it's basically just like they say you and like, hey guy, hey dude, like, did you like our product? Blah, blah, blah. So you kind of want to tell this storytelling of your brand. You want to make it into this follow-up email, and you want to make it as cute as possible, and that people want to actually answer that email. And one way is to have it translated to a really cool, relaxed slang of the target language, so that you get a response from people, So I think that the follow-up emails, the creative follow-up emails, a little bit, I don't know, it's calling risky, but I think a lot of people like to see something which is really informal, would have better feedback than just saying, selling a cold email, to people. So I would put like a little bit on the creative side over there. Now, usually we ask for just like a general idea of the English text, and then we kind of make it sound cuter and better, and we localize it. So we just need some basics, and then we can upgrade it so it sounds a bit better and it sounds more natural for French market or Japanese market. And that's really important. And we get a lot of requests, especially for those follow-up emails, because people know how important that is. Especially because I think after some time you see that people are not responding to your emails, and you trying like very hard to kind of engage people in, to get some feedback, to get some reactions.
We offer actually become part of our testing group on the product, on the packaging, and on the insert. So this way they go on our website, and there's a clear button that says like become a tester for a program. So it just feels different than what most people do. Like becoming a tester, that makes them feel important. They actually get access to products for free, and most of the time before others. So there's a real advantage to them like, becoming a tester. This is one of the ways we've gotten most of our emails, just by the quick insert and on the website.
Newsletters. You could, from your website, and this would be something over time, you have your own newsletter where you're going to provide information about a particular subject that's related to your products and services. And it would be more an educational newsletter that you send out on a periodic basis. But within that newsletter, of course, the goal is to get people to your site so you can have different promotions in the newsletter and different, I guess you could say, quote unquote, soft sells in those newsletters.
I recommend people to run A/B testing because some things can work in one market and some other things can work on another one, right? So each one of us is selling to a different audience, right? So if you sell something to young people, it's different if you sell it to young moms, right? So so even the content should be different. So you should target the content and consider the audience that you are selling to. And using A/B testing, you can do it manually. You can also do it with softwares like Quantify Ninja, and you can set up like different subject and different contents and test which one has a better open rate. And this is something you should do anywhere, anytime. Like it's not just on emails; it's on everything, on your listing, on your pricing. A/B testing is like a very, very important thing that you have to do in anything. In everywhere you do businesses, you need to do A/B testing. And for email, this could really benefit you because if you increase your open rate in 5% and you get 5% more or 2% more reviews, that's significant. I mean, if you sell a lot, it's like huge number of reviews that you can get out of those emails.
Doing the email automation, so sending emails to your buyers, like asking for the feedback, how they like the product, if they have any questions. So what that does, it's more likely that the buyers will come back to your store because they have seen your name a few times and they're more likely to buy from your storefront if you're selling multiple products, right? If they have to repurchase that, they're more likely to buy from you.
How big is your list? What's your engagement on your list? What's your subscribe versus unsubscribe rate? So you want to make sure that I do think that following up with multiple emails is a good thing. I think we'll go ahead and put that out there, first and foremost. But that being said, if you're going to send out a promo around 20% off of this headset right here, I as a consumer probably don't need to see that 6 times inside of a 1 week or a 2 week period. So think about the the frequency on the emails, and what the average consumer's like purchase. I can't think of the word, but how long it takes them to make a purchase. So like I said, I think the more of those you send out, let's go back to the six emails inside of 2 weeks, right? On that same promo, if you're sending that volume of emails out, you do want to watch that unsubscribe rate and make sure that you're not just ruining your list because you want to get the promo out. So I think sending a couple of them out is a good thing. But
so specifically, I'd be looking at something like how to. I don't know. It's always going to be some sort of how to decorate your desk, or how to add products. So add products to your desk to increase efficiency, and it's always to do with solving someone's problem. And I always come back to that. It's always, what is the problem that this person is facing? Why are they buying this lamp? Why are they buying this table lamp? It's probably because they've got an old lamp that is busted, or they want to spruce up the place. They want it to look nicer, or they want their desk lamp to make their work feel like a more homely environment, so it's less officey, because that's kind of where we're heading in this day and age. And if you see offices these days, they're more ergonomic. And this is all just personal experience. I don't actually know this stuff, so I'm just trying to get this stuff off the top of my head. But specifically, I'd go into something like how to decorate your desk with that lamp, or without that lamp. It's absolutely fine. So if you do without the lamp, you can use it with so many other different products. And then when you're talking about how to decorate that desk, you can start to implement other products that you might sell that are related. So you can start to upsell these products without having to be so salesy.
So what if you're not so creative and you can't come up with these good things, like the problems? Like, where would you look for those? Where would you use the inspirations?
So I would start searching as much as possible. Google is definitely a good tool, but an even better tool is Reddit. And what you can do is, if you know or understand a little bit about your customers, and if you understand a little bit about your customers and you understand what their problems are, what you should be doing is you should be going onto Reddit, typing in table lamp. So what would be the problem for somebody buying a table lamp? So if someone's buying a lamp, the problem would essentially be that they're trying to, let's say they're making it more ergonomic. The working environment is more ergonomic. So all you would want to do is go type in ergonomic desk into Reddit. Start reading what people are saying, because this is exactly what people want. So what you will find, if you go in and type it in, you might find people saying, yeah, I need to make my desk more ergonomic because, and then you'll start to understand why they're actually doing that. And then that's where you want to start creating blogs from that. Now, if you're not a creative person and you don't know how to write these emails, and I'm not creative at all, my emails are really, really bad. They're very, very basic. But free content is free content. And if you want to get somebody else to do it, there's always a number of different places you can go online to get that, like your Fiverr, your Upwork. There's a place called textbroker.co.uk, I think it is. But if you literally Google, find somebody to write email content, you should come up with tons of people who would be able to write this stuff for you. But the research should really and truly, if you are a solopreneur, then you should be doing it yourself. You need to understand your customers and why they're buying the products in the first place, so you can appeal to those problems. And I think Reddit is a really good place. Google is a really good place to find that information, and forums as well. So if you go into Google, type in forums, and then the problem, you should be able to find the customer's problems and why they're looking to buy that specific product.
I have people that create content, like memes around that, the field that we're in the category that we're in. Like we just want as much engagement as possible, so we create like constant posts, daily posts on social media, because the more they engage, if you don't engage with them on a daily or ideally daily basis, but maybe a few times a week, then they're most likely going to forget, not this way, but your brand is not going to be on like top of their mind. So just engaging with them. Don't be afraid to send emails to your list, because if you just send emails to your list when you're launching products, let's say you launch one product a month and they get one email from you every month, like they're not going to open it as much. They're going to be, sometimes they get so many emails that they're going to forget this is you, etc. So we try to use like being funny in pretty much everything that we do. And it's a fine line between like being funny and offending people. Like we don't mind offending a few people, but ultimately people like when you make them laugh. They like they like others that are funny. So like when we do things in our inserts, in our emails, on our Facebook, Twitter, all that stuff that's funny, just people like they like our posts. They're like every time they're waiting for a new post and all that stuff. So just that's a way to really nurture your customers. And that's going to make it so it's much more efficient when you actually use that list to launch products.
Email people that are interested in your products and services. You could actually, there's another way you can go about doing this. You could buy an email list of people that may have an interest in your products and services. That's common these days, where you can actually buy lists. You can create your own list. You can go online and, you know, kind of do your own digging around and create your own email list.
This website called showdown.io. It lists everything that is on the internet. It's the Google, but for not only web pages, it's for everything. And what you can find cameras, you can find fridges, you can find thermostats, you can find anything there that's connected to the internet. They can also find databases. Some of these databases do not have a username and password. Some of these databases have email addresses. And if you can, you find them, you find email addresses, you can easily find a couple million email addresses. Then you just have to sort out which ones are related to your business or not and send them an email about your business. It's a lot more challenging than what I just said because I make it sound easy. But if you want to reach them, as many people, 1 million people in 3 hours, that's possible with this method. And it is hacking and it is illegal, by the way. So